welcome back to another video.
November monthly.
November monthly, round 1.
This is the Boreal format, so basically the fun times. Everything is legal.
Everything is legal, 4 strips.
4 times everything, basically.
It's the format where you come to party.
Yeah. yeah. That's where, probably where you want to be if you're playing shops, right?
Yeah, I mean, probably some of the most exciting decks are in the Boreal format.
Just the all-inclusive.
Exactly.
So this is our first player. We got. It's like a black, red, and green. Arabian, I guess Arabian zoo, but not
Arabian
really.
zoo-ish?
There's no like frites though, right? So.
Yeah, but I mean, you know, it has like the
Ernims and the Kurdips.
Kurds, exactly.
6 forests in the deck. Is that enough? 6 forests?
Good question. I mean, you have 4 City of Brass.
No, I'm talking about like to pump the Kurd ape, right? Like it needs a forest to get +1/+2.
Yes, that is true. So that's an interesting. I might have opted to put maybe one more Bayou, one more Taiga, take out 2 cities.
I think for sure at least one Taiga.
Oh, he has 1 Taiga. Oh, he has the 4th one on top. The deck's all over the place. Yeah.
Okay.
So.
See, but even that mountain, is that mountain not better served as a forest possible?
Yeah, I think I have to agree with you there. I mean,
or
also,
you just get rid of it altogether. You're playing 3 colors, right? Like the spice of the deck is the card on the top left, the Xira Arien.
Yeah.
So it's a red, green, black, 1/2 flying, and you can pay her colors and then tap her to draw a card.
Yes.
Well, target player draws a card.
Yeah, target player draws a card. What do you think? Like the Tranquility? You think it's something that should be in the main board, sideboard? I think probably a Shatter would be something
Shatter,
more.
yeah, a second. Well, he's got 1 up there, but a second one possibly, or.
I mean, you always get the factories.
I mean, with Demonic Tutor, maybe even Channel is arguable. Like you got the Fireball.
Yeah, I think you're right there.
Sylvan Library, possibly.
Well, we'll see. I mean, with the sideboard choices, I mean, he's got another Tranquility, Stream of Life, Tsunami, Red Blast, Terrors, Mazes. So I mean, pretty much a well-rounded sideboard.
Yeah. I'd like to find out though what he was afraid of with the Tranquility.
Yeah, me too.
His opponent is on a pretty standard blue-red Counterburn.
Yeah, exactly.
Really
4 Strip Mine, excellent.
Yeah, it's honestly a huge difference. This deck goes from being one of the best in old school to being a very good deck. If you just if the format becomes 1 strip, this deck takes a hit in terms of its power level. But with 4 strip, it's honestly one of the best in my opinion, up there with the deck.
Yeah, I mean, this I think is probably like the deck fears the most. This deck Counterburn versus the deck itself, I think is probably like one of the best matchups. But
yeah, probably like some of the highest level magic can occur if you have really, really experienced pilots of the deck versus a really experienced pilot of this deck would be probably be really high level magic.
Well,
I mean, I don't really see anything different or fancy. I mean,
no, I think it's
4 Side Blast. It's aggressive, but I like it. So Blood Moon in the main. Sometimes people don't do that, but like it's reasonable. So I don't know. I don't really see anything. 1 Black Vice in the main. That's an interesting decision, but I mean, there is wheels, so like not wrong either. So
I think every card is pretty well thought out.
There's the 3 factory again. Not like again as in him, but just we've seen it in the past. A lot of people not necessarily playing the 4 factories, and I'm okay with that. I don't know about you. I'm okay with that.
Yeah, I might have put it in the 4th factory and taken out the Black Vice maybe. And maybe a bit more aggressive. But when you with the Blood Moon in main, I guess he figured that at some point, the factories would not do its purpose.
Yeah, and like they cast nothing in the deck except for the 3 cards. Well, I mean, obviously, okay, that's not true. I just mean that they don't produce the colors that like 80% of the deck requires.
Yeah, exactly. So in the 4 Strip Mine format, maybe you want to lean a little heavier on the basic islands. Yeah. And regardless of the other lands, if the Blood Moon drops, he still has red mana sources casting half of his deck.
I think I'd feel pretty good if I was this guy.
Yeah, I'd feel pretty confident.
Like in the matchup, I mean, like
He's got energy fluxes. And
So he's probably
so on.
he's probably favored, right? I mean,
Yeah, probably.
Crumble and Shatters aren't really doing anything. Out of the main, Tranquility is dead. There's a lot of dead cards in the black, red, and green deck.
Yeah, but if he gets an Ernie up pretty quick, swings in, a couple times, gets damage.
Sure. It is,
And he's playing burn cards as well, so it's not.
Yeah, just our Counterburn player is gonna have to be careful with his counter spells. Like Urnum Jin is probably one of the things that causes the most problems, other than like Mind Twist or Chaos Orb or whatever. So obviously Fireball can be a gotcha moment. So just be careful with your counter spells. Use your removal for other things.
Yeah, looks like a pretty good first hand. You got your first one, play one. First play Flying Man.
Yeah. Oh,
he's got Birds of Paradise, but doesn't seem to be doing too much.
Doesn't
otherwise.
Seem like a keep to me. Well, he's got Library though, right? Is that what?
Yeah. So he's probably banking on that.
See, if that's the case though, if you're keeping a very questionable hand off of Library and you're on the play, I would not start with Library. Okay, we're just gonna
ignore everything you say. So I'm wondering, and plus with the Library in the 4 strip mine format, seems very risky.
Yeah, I mean, maybe he just figures that he has all his color now, so whatever he tops deck, whatever comes off the top of the deck, will just be castable.
Okay.
Well, we got a really strong start here, so that's really good. Now he's got a follow up with Counterspell after, so he can literally just play the exact kind of magic that I love, which is like the Delver magic. You just play a creature on turn 1 and you just protect it for the rest of the game while it beats down. So with the Counterspell backup coming up next turn, it's going to be pretty good. He'll be in a really good position.
I think so.
Especially, he doesn't have that information, but especially considering his opponent's hand is not really doing anything, right? Just a lot of land. There is a Bolt, but,
I mean, we'll take care of the Flying Man.
Okay. Well, that's good. Put a stop to the Counterspell next turn, which is good.
Yeah. It's be a rough next turn on 4 damage. I mean,
that could be an early next turn. Not that the flying creatures care about that, but...
yeah. So taking 1 for the upkeep.
Okay, I think you just bolt that bird. It probably doesn't matter because he's got the 4 mana, but still, your opponent played Library, didn't care about it, and played Moxen and birds for mana. I think you probably destroy that mana if you can. So Chain Lightning the bird seems okay to me.
Interesting enough, you decide to swing in first without...
Oh, yeah, because if the bird, it's fine, because if the bird blocks, then you get to save your removal spell for something else. I think it's fine.
Okay, so he's blocking the Ernie and bolting the Flying Man. So not taking any damage this turn.
Yeah. I think that's fine. I think he's happy to keep his Chain Lightning. He basically got a free removal.
Okay.
Yeah, I see.
Buying himself another turn, essentially. Just chomp block resists until... So, I mean, now I think this is where I'd probably play the chain.
If I have another blue source, I think I'm okay. Oh, okay, no blue source. So I was going to say, if I have another blue source and I can hold up that counterspell, I think I'm okay with, again, just offering my opponent the trade. Just burn his face later on. Take out his card and keep the burn. You keep your creature to continue doing damage every turn, and you keep your burn. I think it's okay. But then if my opponent now blocked me last turn and doesn't block me this turn, then I would use the Chain Lightning.
Yeah, okay.
What's he doing this turn that he didn't care about last turn? Or what's he planning next turn? Chaos Orb probably not necessary to play. If it meant killing the bird instead. But it's okay. Your opponent also didn't do anything the previous turn, so, take the chance that maybe this turn he won't do anything either, so tap out for your card that is still good and relevant.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, we're getting a little bit screwed with mana, though. Usually the Counterburn deck is doing that.
Yeah. Well, the strip mine was a little rough.
Yeah.
I would imagine. Okay. Taking the 3.
Maybe bolt the bird and orb the Taiga. Maybe not.
It's not a bad idea. I don't know.
It doesn't really like win the game though, or like orbing the taiga. You know, if your opponent's really not doing anything, maybe just building up to something big. That said, though, if that big thing ends up being a fireball to kill your win condition for the moment,
yeah,
could be rough. Okay,
passing the turn. Okay, so he's not. He doesn't seem like he's top decking well. Okay, now you got your double blue.
Yeah, see, so I wouldn't be so ambitious. Like, just keep attacking for 3. Counterspell, counterspell, counterspell. Just wins the game.
Counterspell. Worst case, you flip the orb with your Mishra.
That's true. He has orb and counterspell available to him. No, he wants to play another creature.
He's going aggressive, which I could respect, but... So now, tapped out, so... If the opponent has a crumble, it'll probably be a good time to play on the Chaos Sword, but I mean...
Yeah. Yeah, just getting lucky that his opponent's not doing anything. He could be getting, like, you know, like the... It's not that it's wrong to have tapped out there for another creature, but you definitely do open yourself up to things that you're definitely prepared for. Whereas you're, you know, like maybe you accelerated your clock by a turn or 2 turns, I guess. 2 turns, but at the risk of that, like, turn where you're tapped out.
Yeah, and especially if the opponent is having, like, a terror in his hand, with just no black mana source. Okay.
So just a bolt to the face.
So now if he activates his factory next turn and chains him, that effectively could be... Or even just
a chain, or even just factory attacking. So I mean, like definitely the reward for what his play is that now he's winning next turn, which is why it's still a good play. But the question, like, it's still discussion worthy, right? Like, do you risk that tap out when you have counterspell in your hand? I've personally gotten punished numerous times for being like, I'm in a position where based on the past few turns, it's like safe for me to just tap out here, and then they just get you. You're like, okay, I had the counterspell in my hand. Like, what am I doing?
Or, the opponent's just waiting for you to tap out, so you're patiently waiting 3-4 turns, hoping that you get greedy, and then that's when they move in. But
sometimes it pays off, and it looks like it did this time, so that's very good for the Counterburn player. Yeah, with no access to cards like Balance or Abyss, you're basically just stuck on your 2 terrors in the first game. Because your bolts aren't dealing with those booties, right?
Yeah, his Maze of Vith is in the side, his 2 other terrors. So he's really got to bring in those terrors. Regrowthing the bolts.
No,
unfortunately, I don't think that's going to do anything for him.
Yeah. The Counterburn deck is just so clean, so mean, so lean.
Yeah. There's like no fat to trim.
Yeah.
It's just every card is doing something so well together. Okay.
That's a Chain Lightning, is it not?
It is.
So something he could have done on his own turn, but now obviously cannot because... Well, we're not going to notice it because...
We're just going to ignore that.
We're just going to... That is a Chain Lightning, right?
I do believe you're right. Unless it's like some kind of proxy.
I guess it didn't matter because the bolts were in the hand, but... So 2 counter spells in hand. But yeah, that's kind of funny. Chain Lightning.
Yeah.
You know?
I'll just play an instant card, or a sorcery card, and instant speed. Don't mind me. So, as expected.
Yeah, but at the same time, though, like, you know, you're an aggro deck, you didn't do anything for 4 turns in a row. It's kind of rough, right? He had all the mana in the world. So that's kind of the problem with keeping hands where you've just got, like, all you know, you feel comfortable because you got all your colors, you got enough mana that anything you draw off the top is good. But then if you're in a situation where you just draw another land, or draw another mana source, or draw a bird, or draw your dead cards like Crumble and Tranquility, you're punished heavily for that for the keep of the opening hand.
Yeah.
And not to mention, you probably felt comfortable too with the Lightning Bolt. But then his opponent
Yeah, but with the Serendibs being 4 toughness,
Yeah.
and even if you have a chain and a bolt in hand to get rid of, it's a 2-for-1. You have to use 2 cards to eliminate 1 creature. So, okay.
Decided to keep the crumbles in the deck. Why? What?
Probably the factories.
Yeah.
Factories.
Or if you're also, but like I was gonna, you could also say he's on a mana denial plan, but he's only playing the 1 strip, so.
Yeah. Well, we'll just have to see. Yeah, I love the Boreal format because it's like, 4 strip mines. There's so many other decks to get, like, that are not as good or suffer a little bit in the power.
Mm-hmm.
And their ability to really shine in, like, Swedish and Atlantic. That 4 strip was a huge game changer. Like, I thought, like, last time you were talking about that Monkey Balls deck that Karel
I think he's playing it in this monthly.
Yeah, so just a huge difference. Oh, okay. We got early turns. Land drop.
Change of pace from last game. Now we are definitely killing. So interesting. He felt. So yeah, that's what I was kind of thinking last game was he probably justified to himself that since the opponent already had access to 4 mana that it wasn't worth killing the bird. But if my opponent is playing birds, I think the bird is always necessary for their deck. So if the logic is I do kill birds, just kill the bird.
Yeah. Okay, so he's playing a Chaos Orb Proxy, in case anyone is wondering.
That's a strip mine proxy. Okay. Yeah.
So going on the mana denial plan.
Yeah. So I've lost games to Counterburn where all they've basically done is just flying mana on turn 1 and then follow up with 3 strip mines, and you just can't play anything because they just had 3 strips and you don't draw another land, and then they just beat you down, and then bolt you, and side blast. Feels bad, but that is one issue with the 4 strip mine format.
You've punished me in such ways before, so.
Well, yeah, for sure, but there are pros and cons to it all. So you bolted the first bird. Your opponent played a second and did nothing else. Bolt the bird again. Just do it. Just bolt the bird, right?
He's stripping the...
Yeah, and then you bolt. Yeah.
Yes. Okay. Excellent. So going straight for the mana denial. So the opponent has a Chaos Orb
there might
and 1 land.
There might be a Spike Chaos Orb here where he just pulls up his Volcanic.
I'd probably be inclined to do it at this point. I'd be like, you know what? We're just going to be in top deck mode. Let's just go for broke and...
I have a land, you have nothing.
Yeah.
Show me that you've been using your resources properly, kind of thing.
Yeah, like I'm gonna call you and try to outpace you. But I think just even the Counterburn deck, just top decking slightly better.
Yeah, of course. It's just a better deck. Not to say that it always wins this matchup, but it certainly has an advantage.
Okay, so he's deciding to use the Chaos Orb.
Yeah, of course. These flips scare me. But
okay. That's a proper flip, if I ever saw one.
And we're going to draw and play land. Okay. We're lucky, we have a land. So I don't know, I think the... oh, wow, that's exactly what the Counterburn deck wants to see. My opponent do nothing. It basically justifies the way he's been removing the mana sources and...
so he's got double blue.
And now he's got double blue. One more... Okay, yeah.
Well, okay. There you go.
Now the feast begins, unless okay. So the black, red, green deck did board in has 4 red blasts to board in, which is not irrelevant, right? Like, yeah, I think he even is that Fireball he's got in his hand. Fireball,
I think it's
or
red
is that
blast.
a red
I think it's red blast.
It feels like the fires then.
Oh, I'd wait to play it on the upkeep. Let the opponent take the upkeep damage, and then
unless he's got something else in mind.
Demonic. Taking the 1 damage from the city.
You getting a Black Lotus here? We're getting a Terror?
I don't know.
Terror?
I don't know.
Could be a Terror.
If you want to be really mean, you get a maze. Just let the opponent eat its...
Oh, yeah.
No, but I'd probably get a Terror. Realistically.
Or maybe another Red Blast, so you have 2 red... He's showing the card he got. Okay. Well, Demonic is not a reveal, but it's okay.
So he's probably having the extra land for the Red Blast. Maybe he's having, a Curd Ape and he's needing that forest. I don't know.
I thought he only had the one land in play at the beginning of this turn, though.
No, he had the city. Okay.
Well, we saw how fast that clock changes when you have the 2 Efreets, so...
Yeah.
Red Blast is essential.
Okay, it is a fireball. You were right. It is a fireball, not a Red Blast.
Okay, that's unfortunate. That's probably a game over. He's also got a Shatter in his hand. So he's got Shatter and Crumble in his hand, which he kept in.
Yeah.
Did they not sideboard? Is it possible they just didn't board? Did we see them sideboard?
It's possible it could have been edited out just to keep the video short. But yeah, I would have brought in the 2 Terrors immediately. I would have taken out the Tranquility and the Crumbles, for sure. Especially the Crumble, because I'm seeing my opponents playing little to no artifacts. And the last thing I'm wanting to give him is life.
Yeah.
With Crumble, especially if he's playing the Efreets.
So 6 damage means 9, which means dead next turn with Psyblast. Well, I mean, the bird is a consideration, but still. Well, actually, if he plays no other creatures and blocks 1 Efreet, the Factory and the other... Oh, there's a Red Blast.
Okay.
He's got a Red Blast, but we've got all kinds of islands untapped, so if there's any sign of counter spells in this guy's hand. Interesting. 8 damage, we'll be playing for 3.
Okay, he's got the Granite Gargoyle.
Gargoyle blocks, but not big enough to stay alive this turn yet.
Not this turn, so he's...
Oh, what are we doing here? Psyblast. Oh, double Psyblast is game over. He's at 8 life. So that City of Brass being tapped put him to double Psyblast range. And there is a second Psyblast, you can see it. Yeah, even when he's tapped out, I would just show the card. Here's
here, next turn I'm playing this. Even with the 2 damage upkeep, you're tapped out.
Well, I guess that's true, right? Like, if he Psyblasts first and gets Red Blasted,
yeah,
no bueno. So you get the Red Blast to eat an Efreet, and then you get the free kill off of the Psyblast guaranteed. So good sequencing in the end, actually.
Yeah, there you go. And that's game.
Yeah, unfortunately, the Crumbles and the Shatters didn't come out of the deck for the Arabian-ish Zoo deck, because obviously those are just dead cards, right? And when your opponent's deck is so efficient, you can't really afford to have dead cards in your deck.
You have to have, like, top-notch cards, especially for a tier 1 deck like that.
You have to be able to play in such a way that you're putting pressure on them so that they change their game plan. You can't let them play their game when their deck is that efficient. So it's unfortunate, but it happens. And Counterburn is Counterburn. So
I mean, unfortunately for JPath, he didn't really get any momentum going. But hopefully, in the next monthly with the next Boreal, whenever he decides to play this deck again, maybe some changes will be made to making his deck a little bit more efficient, a little better.
We didn't see any of the Xiras.
Yeah, unfortunately, no spice this matchup, but that's why you should tune in next week, and maybe there'll be more.
I mean, the card is probably too slow anyways, right, for that matchup?
Yeah, exactly.
Like, you might board them out.
Maybe for like a Paladin or X-Points format, it might be a little bit more,
But again, though, just a shame that so many dead cards, right?
Yeah.
Oh well. As always, like I said, the next monthly.
Yep.
Never give up, never surrender.
Never surrender. All right, bye everyone.